Guys, let's talk about Mohammed Kudus, who featured for West Ham over the weekend in a 1-1 draw against Tottenham, and he performed extremely well based on my own opinion. I've done my reaction towards this game, so please check the channel and watch it. But then after the game, something happened. You can see a video right here on your screen. Mohammed Kudus talking to Ghanaian rapper Manifest. And guys, I don't want to talk too much. Let's check the video out.
Good to meet you, man.
Nice to meet you.
Everything.
Oh,
Everything. Nyame adum bi aboko. Oh, they better player. Nyame share nkwa also.
So guys, you have seen the video and Manifest had a lot to say to Kudus. Kudus was just taking in all the compliments. He was just laughing. He was like a kid that was getting all the good compliments from his parents. He said was becoming big. He was just laughing. But then let me know what you think about this down below in the comments. Now let's move on to the next item that has to do with Mohammed Kudus. But before we jump into it, let me ask you this. Would Kudus start at Arsenal? Big question. If you know the answer, let me know it down below in the comments. If you don't know the answer to, listen to this. Arsenal have shown interest in Mohammed Kudus when he was playing at Ajax. It was rather unfortunate he did not come to Arsenal, but went to West Ham. We all saw Mohammed Kudus last season. This season, it has not really gone well. Kudus has scored 4 goals and given 2 assists in the EPL. Regardless of that, a lot of teams are interested in him, including Arsenal. According to Ficharges.net, Arsenal are preparing a bid of 70 million euros to West Ham to sign Mohammed Kudus. It's not like they're going to pay all the money at one go. They are going to have an installment plan. They are going to negotiate with West Ham for Mohammed Kudus. Now, Mohammed Kudus has a release clause of 85 million euros that only applies to EPL clubs, and also has a release clause of 120 million euros that apply to Saudi Arabian clubs, i.e., Al Nassr, who have shown interest in Mohammed Kudus. Now, one would be asking, would Mohammed Kudus start at Arsenal? Now, this is my answer. If you take a look at Arsenal's forward, apart from Bukayo Saka, Mohammed Kudus will bench every single forward at Arsenal at this moment. Don't get me wrong, he's not getting the goals and the numbers this season for West Ham. I get it. But look at what Martinelli is doing. Look at Trossard. Look at how unclinical they are in most games they have played for Arsenal. See, Arsenal should be winning a lot of games this season, if not for those two. Against PSG, we all saw it, Finigadochi. I believe Kudus goes into that team and fights for a position. So Arsenal showing interest in Kudus' cycle. I don't commit that particular move. But then there are other issues with West Ham, because the last time West Ham won a game was against Leicester City. They have gone on to play 8 games in the EPL and they have not won a single one. So far, 8 games, their last 8 games, West Ham has not won a single one. So if someone sits somewhere and say Mohammed Kudus is a flop, he's not performing well, take a look at the whole West Ham team and ask yourself, not even tell yourself, ask yourself, who is to blame? Is it Kudus or West Ham itself? Now, what we are hearing, according to Football Insider, is that there are a lot of fights between players in the dressing room. Every single time they finish playing a game, it's not small. There is a lot of fight in dressing room. Things are happening behind the scenes. And they did not start under Graham Potter. It started at the beginning of the season under Junior Lupiteki. Now, Junior Lupiteki himself had some squabbles with players such as Claire Jan Todibo. He also fought with Anfonso Oriolo, also fought with Mohammed Kudus. These 3 players, Junior Lupiteki had his own back and forth with them in the dressing room. What we are hearing now is that same thing is happening under Graham Potter and it's reflecting on the pitch. So if he sits somewhere and say Kudus, oh, he's a flop, he's this, is that. See, the team, West Ham itself, has a lot of issues. I believe Kudus should just leave West Ham and save himself some peace of mind next season. If Arsenal is showing interest and Arsenal are serious about him, why not? They should push him for the move. If Liverpool are serious enough, why not? They should push him for the move. Kudus is an excellent player. He just happens to find himself in a very bad team, West Ham, this season. So guys, this is my own takes concerning Mohammed Kudus and what is happening around him. Kudus talking to Manifest, Arsenal showing interest in Mohammed Kudus, and also what is happening to that West Ham team that is affecting Mohammed Kudus. Let me know your thoughts about it down below in the comments. Now, let's move away from that and talk about Thomas Partey. We were all excited when we heard Thomas Partey was going to begin talks with Arsenal concerning a contract extension. Now, Thomas Partey made his demands clear to Arsenal that, see, this is what I want in my contract extension. I'm staying here because of my family, and I want these things in that contract extension. 2 years with an improved term. Arsenal were just doing like this. They were dilly-dallying. They were doing commissar. What we are hearing is that Arsenal are holding final talks with Thomas Partey's camp to finalize this contract extension. Now, Thomas Partey has also made it clear to them that if they can't meet his demands, he's going to look at other options. Other options being PSG, Atletico de Madrid, Barcelona, Juventus. I'm sure other EPL clubs, looking at how important Thomas Partey has been for Arsenal this season, would also try to push in for him because he's a free agent. And Thomas Partey do not stand to lose anything. See, Thomas Partey can pocket in the signing on fee and still go there and play his football. I mean, even Saudi Arabian clubs are coming in from the player. So Arsenal holding final talks with Thomas Partey, I just want to believe that it's a positive word because we all saw Arsenal without Thomas Partey and how it went. Very bad. On Wednesday, we are going to see Arsenal with Thomas Partey and we are going to see the difference. Now, the played against Bournemouth over the weekend have reacted to that game, stating that Mikel Arteta seems to be trying something. That is why he played all his players. He assembled the Avengers against Bournemouth and still lost by 2-1. Comparing that to his opponent, PSG, who benched all his A-list players and started a team B. The only A-list player or the first team player that started in that game was João Neves. And a lot of people were complaining. A lot of people are bashing Mikel Arteta. And I get it. These players need to rest. And you see, because of that, Odegaard got injured and everything. But what I'm thinking is that, what if, just listen to me. What if Mikel Arteta is just trying something? I've already explained this. I see a lot of Arsenal fans not really being happy with the fact that Mikel Arteta, knowing that they have a big game to play on Wednesday, and still using almost his first 11 against Bournemouth. Now, they lost that game, and people still believe that, no, Arsenal cannot sit either third or fourth in that EPL table. Looking at the season Man City have had, a very bad season. If they finish above Arsenal, and Arsenal goes to the Parc de France or Parc des Princes or however it's called, and still go there and go and lose, Arsenal have had one of the worst seasons. Yes, that is what people are saying. So a lot of people do not like the fact that Mikel Arteta used the whole squad against Bournemouth. People feel like it was a wrong move. Others also believe that, no, Mikel Arteta did the right thing. Regardless of that fact, there's nothing to fight for in the EPL anymore. If you take a look at the EPL table, a lot of teams are closing in. But a lot of Arsenal fans believe that, I mean, Arsenal is definitely going to beat Southampton and probably Newcastle, and they can still maintain their second position up. Probably Arsenal themselves are going to win the UEFA Champions League. They are going to do the remontada against PSG. But then, guys, a lot of things is happening with Arsenal. A lot of opinions here and there concerning Mikel Arteta's move. But then, there's one thing I believe for sure. Thomas Partey is going to be influential on Wednesday. He's going to come into that team for Arsenal and he's going to play extremely well. Thomas Partey is what Arsenal needs on Wednesday to do the impossible. So, guys, this is what I have to say about Thomas Partey. But then the good news is that Arsenal holding final talks with Thomas Partey's camp, and I can't just wait. If Thomas Partey can deliver them to the finals, Arsenal have no choice to give Thomas Partey every single demand he needs in his contract extension. Now, let's move away from that and talk about Antoine Semenyo. Now, this player, he gave a very peculiar assist over the weekend against Arsenal, and a lot of people are talking about it. He did not start in that game. He came in the second half. And he gave in a throw-in assist. You usually don't see that. It happens once in a while. Now, after doing that, the coach of Bournemouth had some few things to say. He says that we have two players who can have this kind of throw, Antoine Semenyo and James Hill. He also tried to say that we have tried to encourage players, especially Antoine, to use long throw-ins, and we don't have a tall team. But then we have Dien, the player who scored the goal, who is obviously a very good area threat. Now that player is attracting interest from Real Madrid, Chelsea and co. But then this is what the coach of Bournemouth had to say about Antoine Semenyo throw in as saying that, see, there are only 2 players in that Bournemouth team that can do that. Semenyo and also James Hill. But Bournemouth themselves, it's not like they're having top players, but then he keeps on encouraging Semenyo to be doing more of that, because that throwing alone looks like a free kick or a corner kick to, Bournemouth. And I mean, it paid off. We also saw it against Arsenal, and that is what the coach is saying. I won't be surprised if Ghana will start implementing that. Guess where points we need someone goal, then we call Semenyo to come and do some long throw, and you understand, and we score some goal, their bars. So guys, let me know what you think about this down below in the comments. My name is Adam. I'll make sure to see you in the next video. We'll make sure to talk about more football updates live here. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notification. My name is Adam. Charlie, we go back.